Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is NBA Weekly, the show where once a week I talk about things that have happened in the previous week and things to look forward to in the coming week. First of all, let's talk about the Knicks. They've lost 10 in a row and they've lost like 20 of their last 21 games. They look like a huge disappointment to everyone except me. I mean, the real reason why the Knicks seem to be playing so badly is because everyone actually expected better of them. I expected nothing of them. I expect them to finish in the bottom three of the league. But for some reason, everyone gets so excited about the Knicks, and a lot of it is just the fact that they're in New York. It's, one of the media capitals of the world and stuff, blah, blah, blah. So the Knicks and the Lakers, those teams are always going to get talked about no matter how much their team sucks. So just because of that fact that they're in a place where there are a lot of different spotlights shining on them, they suffer from hype. And for me, I usually say this about like movies and music and TV shows and stuff, but the same thing applies to sports. A lot of times, like I won't go see a movie that all of my friends think is amazing, because it usually ends up being a letdown, because everyone's like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen, blah blah blah, and they're talking it up for months on end. So when I finally see it, I'm expecting it to be perfect in every way, and I'm like, well, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like that. You thought this was amazing, I think they did this better in that movie, blah blah blah. And I think that's kind of the same thing that's happening here with the Knicks. People were actually relatively realistic about the Lakers, but I think that's more about the confidence that they're in. They know how tough that fight's going to be, and that the Lakers don't have enough all-around team to make a real good game out of it. But with the Knicks, supposedly, I don't know why. People were all over the Knicks this year, and I know part of it's because they got a new head coach, which that's not something we should be excited about. Sure, it's Derek Fisher. He walked under Phil Jackson. He knows that triangle offense, but still, he's a rookie head coach. You can only expect so much from him. And if you look at the talent on the roster, yes, they've been a little banged up, but still, that's not the reason they're losing. Because in the end, it comes down to players who play the game. If you don't have players who can execute the offense the way that you do, that you draw it up, if you don't have players who actually, put their bodies on the line on defense trying to make stops, that's where the trouble really comes from. That's the real issue here. They've done nothing to really shore up that. And I think the biggest issue is just Carmelo. See, has Carmelo ever even been out of the first round of the playoffs? I'm going to say right now, Carmelo retires without ever even getting to a conference finals in his career. Now, let's talk about the Spurs. They were able to grind New Year's Eve, the Spurs were able to grind out a tough win against Houston in a very gritty game. Actually, no, that was New Year's Eve. And then on New Year's Eve, they finally won an overtime game for the first time this season. And New Year's Eve in general was an amazing night. Durant returned to action and they needed him. Westbrook had 20 points, but he fouled out in the second quarter after receiving his second technical. And so he got ejected, and Durant finished the game, leading the team with 44 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Thunder took the overtime win. The only complaint I have about the night is that it ended too soon. I understand they wanted the players to go home, enjoy New Year's Eve and whatever. But, I don't have a life. I have no friends I can go to parties with. I ended up going to bed at like 11 o'clock at night. And then the Pistons, coincidentally, they're 4-0 since releasing Josh Smith. Coincidentally, but two things. One, having a distraction in the locker room can hurt your team's ability to play together on the floor. And two, even more importantly, they're playing some not really great teams that they're going against here. Their fourth win came against the Knicks. That's not much to brag about. And then also, let's talk briefly about the Pacers. They are getting healthier and have quietly started to win games, climb back into the playoff race. As of recording this, they're only a half game behind the 8th seed. Anything is possible in that Eastern Conference. And then, Al Jefferson, he's expected to miss a month of action after surgery, but no one gives a fuck because he's on a shitty team that no one talks about. All that anyone cares about is the fact that LeBron James, he's going to miss 2 weeks with soreness. And it is a little troubling because, LeBron's a guy who throughout his career has never missed more than 7 games in an entire season. And so now he's expected to sit out 10 in a row with soreness. And so a lot of people are starting to question that. Me, he's 30. He just turned 30. And in professional sports, 30 is as good as 60. He's old. Deal with it. And so, a few games that I'm looking forward to this coming week. On Sunday, you got some great East versus West matchups as the Wizards go against the Spurs. You got a relatively young team with still so much to prove. And you got a veteran roster that has proven so much already, so I don't think anyone would really mind if they had one off year, which is kind of what they're doing. Still not sure about the health situation with the Spurs. They've been missing some of their elite starters. Recently December was a struggle, but who knows? Maybe the new year will bring some new life. Then you got the Hawks at the Blazers, and as of recording this, both teams are second overall in their respective conferences. This will be a good battle. You've got Aldridge versus Millsap. People don't talk about him as much, but Teague is a great guard, so I'm looking forward to him versus Lillard. And I'm going to try to check this game out because as of right now, I still have not seen a single Hawks game, only highlights. So I want to see what they're about. The same time, though, it's the wild card weekend, so might not get around to that. Then on Sunday, you've got the Mavs at the Cavs, so even with James out, this will be a great battle. You've got Love versus Dirk, that'll be interesting. Rondo versus Kyrie. And then you've got Kings at Pistons, and I know neither of them is going to make the playoffs, but hopefully there's potential for a great interior battle between Cousins and Drummond. And then you got the Nets at the Heat. Both teams are in the playoffs right now, jockeying for position. Nets 7th, Heat 8th. But they are both under 500. Keep that in mind. Then on Monday, you've got the Rockets at the Bulls, two of the more physical teams in the league. Definitely interesting in seeing Butler going head-to-head with Harden. That's the main reason I want to watch this. But you do have both of their starting centers, Noah and Howard, if they're both healthy. They've been Defensive Player of the Year, so it'll be fun to see that matchup. And you've also got the Thunder at the Warriors. Warriors have dominated this series so far, but the Thunder, they're healthy again, so this might be a much tougher fight. Keep in mind the Warriors have only lost one home game all season. You've got the Hawks at Clippers. The Hawks, they came away with a home win in their first matchup, but the Clippers, they're a much better team at home. And they're playing much better of late. Then on Tuesday, there's nothing that really looks like it'll be worth the time. So on Wednesday, you got the Rockets at the Cavs. The Rockets have one of the best road records in the league, so we'll see if Kevin and Kyrie can keep carrying the Cavs without the King. Say that 5 times fast. Grizzlies at Hawks, as of recording this video, they have identical records. Memphis hasn't been as strong without Zebo in the lineup. There's no timetable for his return, but they're still going to put up a fight. They're just not the dominant team that they used to be, so I would not be shocked to see them lose since the Hawks have been playing well lately. You've also got the Pacers at the Warriors, and I'm going out on a limb with this one. Watch it at your own discretion. It's just that the Pacers, they've been getting a little healthier. The offseason acquisitions that they've made, those guys are paying dividends. I mean, they're starting to be a little more fun to look at. Thursday, none of these games really looked that appealing, so we'll move on to Friday. Grizzlies at Pelicans. Pelicans have fought hard all season. They've grabbed some good wins against good teams, so this could be a fun contest. You've got Bulls at Wizards, both in the top half of the playoff standings. Good guards, good post players, and the Bulls have the same record on the road that the Wizards do at home. So we'll see who comes away with this one. You've also got the Sun at the Spurs. The Spurs are only in the 7th seed right now, barely in front of the Suns, who did manage to beat the Spurs way back at the beginning of the season. So this could be a fight. And then you've got the Cavs at the Warriors. Warriors are in strong command of the Wild Wild West, while the Cavs are just trying to prove that they're worth the hype. There goes that word again. Well, anyways, that's it for this very shitty edition of NBA Weekly. But this has been the Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. See you again next week.